Welcome to the Impactful Engineer Project. I'm Steve Maxey, and with my co-host and brother Jake, we are here to bring you guidance, fresh ideas, and the tools to help you become an impactful engineer.
Welcome to the Impactful Engineer Podcast, where we talk about how to grow your engineering career and chase your full potential and all the challenges along the way. Ultimately, we want everyone listening to have access to a fulfilling career and be inspired to become the best versions of themselves. Steve is an engineering manager for Klein Tools, a 150-year-old family-owned hand tool manufacturer for the trades professional. I am a professional engineer for Hallam ICS, a company that provides multiple engineering services, including mechanical, electrical, and process design for the built environment.
This podcast has a few episode types. This one is our standard format where Jake and I present a topic. We introduce the why and the how around this topic and give some tips to get the conversation going and inspire some action.
Occasionally, we have quick solo episodes that are really short and down to the point, like 10 minutes. It's where we have an idea that we want to present to the group, but it's not going to take 30 minutes for Steve and I to, volley back and forth. We just want to get you something that you can take action on immediately.
And about once a month, we will bring on a guest that has expertise, experience in a particular field and share their perspective, mindset, strategies, and some actionable tips based around their area of genius. The overall goal being to provide exposure to multiple thought processes and views in areas that will help you succeed. These episodes are a ton of fun and packed with useful and thought-provoking information, so don't miss them.
Are they, Steve? Are they packed?
They are
full of
very packed.
Yeah? Amazing. Amazing. So what's up, dude?
Nothing much, man. How's your weekend so far?
That's pretty good.
Nice.
I got a lot of my shit done already.
Hell yeah.
That feels good, including some household chores. So,
yep.
Yeah.
I hear that. Doing lots of yard work and vehicle maintenance. So, super fun.
Yeah, to get your hands all banged up and stuff. Like got bloody knuckles. And...
Yeah, I already got fiberglass into some cuts. That's always nice.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yep, it's fantastic.
Because there's never enough room.
Never.
And then you're taking the bolt and you just, and then you get it and then slam.
Yep.
And you're just going to,
just slice
even when you're not trying. You're just, you're just like grabbing a wrench or something and then just trying to get your hand back out. You always hit something. There's always a sharp corner of metal,
Pull a muscle somewhere you didn't know you had a muscle.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the best.
And build your core a little bit, you know?
Exactly.
You're always leaning in over the hood and
Yep.
All right. Let's get into the topic of the episode. So, should we focus more on our weaknesses or on our strengths? I've heard that so many times, right?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of stuff online that'll tell you what to do. And it's, of course, it depends kind of answer, which is perfect for us to talk about it, right?
Absolutely.
If it was just one answer, we would just give it and see sayonara.
Yeah, that'd be a solo episode.
Yeah, exactly. What they say is true. Do this. But so here's my thoughts on it. Should we focus more on our weaknesses or our strengths? Of course, it comes down to the scenario that you're in. And what, I've been learning lately and really focusing on is that where your focus goes, your energy flows. So where do you want to apply that in the moment when you're, let's say, let's go on a weekly basis, right? So you're trying to get something done. Am I going to focus on my weaknesses or am I going to focus on my strengths? Where do you think my energy should go? Yeah,
your strengths for sure, because you need to get shit done.
Yeah, exactly. Because we're all every week, at a week view. That's as far as we're looking. We need to get some shit done. So focus on your strengths. Obvious one. Use your strengths to get the task laid out in front of you done. The less obvious, but pretty close, is to delegate your weaknesses. Right. So that's what I do all the time.
Yep.
Until there's strengths, and then I can choose whether I am the primary to execute on what used to be a weakness, right? And then I'm continuing to delegate strengths, or delegate weaknesses, sorry. But yeah, man, delegate those weaknesses. That's what I would say to do.
Yeah.
And also weed out what like for example, if I need a table of data put together, I could delegate that. I have a strength in creating something that is going to give me the data I need organized in the way that I need to see it, right? And I'm good at Excel. So focus on your strengths. I'm good at putting the table together. I know what data we need, and I'm good at Excel, and I can get it done real quick. Strength. I'm not going to say I know what the data I need, and I'm good at making the table, and I'm going to use this program that I never used before because I think it'll do better or something. It's like, no. In that moment, focus on your strengths. Use Excel. Get it done, right? If you have determined that using this other program would be great for you in the future, and it's a weakness right now, and you need it right now, you delegate that, okay? But then you work on making that program usage a strength of your own so that you can use it, right? Does that make sense?
Oh yeah,
So
absolutely.
the first point is timing.
Yeah, I mean, great example, right? Is some of the software we use for editing video clips for the show.
Right.
We used one software that is a little clunky. It's not the greatest, but I knew it, so I was cranking on it, cranking out clips. We got a new software, and we're like, hey, this is a way better software. It does all these other cool things. Let's learn how to do this. But then in crunch time, I go back to the not as great software because I need to get it done. And then on the weekends or whatever, I can just continually learn the new stuff to get better at it. And eventually I'll get there.
If you so choose to focus on that weakness over the long term to bring it into like the strength realm.
Yep, exactly.
Right.
Something I do want to touch on is priority, right? If you are tasked with a list of things you need to get done like right away, and you have a strength in Excel, right? But you also have strength in doing analysis or design or whatever. You only have so much time to get all these things done. What you can do is find other people that have strengths in the same thing, even if they're not as strong as you, and delegate those tasks, like say Excel, and say, hey, Bob over here, he's pretty good at Excel. Not as good as me, but he's pretty good. But I'm the only one who can do design. And, Bob doesn't have experience to design. So let's go ahead and give him the Excel stuff, even though it'll take him a little bit longer than me. He can do that, and I'll focus on design. So just because you're the best at it doesn't necessarily mean that you need to be the one doing it, depending on the situation.
Yeah, totally. And that gets into the realm of delegation as a whole, as a skill.
Yes.
For sure. Yeah. And you can use that to work on your weaknesses while other people with the same strengths can level out the workload. Yeah. I like that. Okay. Should we focus on our weaknesses or our strengths? We covered a couple of obvious ones, but when you're in the thick of it, you don't think of it a lot. There's a lot of opportunity to run this scenario through to improve your weekly efficiency, like in the moment for all the tasks and the projects you're continually working on. So I challenge you to actually look at it, not listen to us and go, oh yeah, that's obvious. How did this even make it on the show? Hey, take a look at yourself and what you're doing. I can guarantee you're going to find some things you go, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. So knowledge of it is great. Apply that knowledge. Actually vet what you're doing out and take action on it. They're two separate things. So, and you'll find that you know a lot of stuff, but you're not applying it, right? So let's bring that application back up. So the obvious ones out of the way. I would say let's switch into a long-term focus. There's going to be certain weaknesses that you have in the technical arena, in project management arena, leadership, et cetera, right? Take all the categories of things that you can put into your weakness bucket, I guess. And then what you focus on, here's where it's going to be like a taking a big picture view and looking into the future. What you focus on depends on where you want to go. And then you got to think, okay, I think I know where I want to go, so I'm going to organize my focuses on my weaknesses and strengths this way. Then you got to think, okay, how much time do I have to focus on my weaknesses? Who can I delegate my weaknesses to in the short term? But what's the one thing that I'm going to work on now? So that you can have a delegation rotation like kind of schedule. right? This is getting really into like the strategic planning of it all. But that's where I think most people trip up because we're so focused on what we're doing in the now that we're not focused on the 6 months, the year and a half, the 2 years. What are we changing as far as our strengths and weaknesses into the future, for more than just the current project we're working on? So I'd like to get into that mode and see what you think about that, Steve. How do you? Let's just start with how do you implement that? Like, what are you doing to make sure that your weaknesses are where in a year they're where you want them to be, maybe towards the strength column?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of books and podcasts, right? So, I mean, that's how I, the media format that I do to learn more. I also have conversations with mentors and leaders and you, right, about other
Mm-hmm.
things that I can improve. But how I apply the long term weakness building to into strengths is I focus on, okay, what role am I in right now, and I improve the skill sets that make me better at what I'm doing right now to a point of good enough to be successful, and then I also at the same time work on those skills that are going to set me up for success for the next role that I want to go to, and then the next one after that.
So that all sounds really good. I hear people screaming how. I also hear them screaming, yeah, but we got to do work, and I get thrown assignments all the time, and I just how am I supposed to keep track of this stuff, and what am I supposed to actually think about to get this done, right? And like for me, I force it to happen. So I have a list of my weaknesses and what I need to work on. Let's say that one of my weaknesses is proposing on a project from start to finish, from receipt of the RFP or interest to getting your name in the pool to asking some questions, gathering up your strategy, writing a proposal. You have your fee, you have your scope, submitting it, and then winning it. What if I was weak at that? I was like, okay, well, how am I going to practice doing that? Well, I have to go to somebody and say, someone needs to give me the opportunity to propose on a project from start to finish. And it has to be a part of my workload. It can't be, we'll give you this thing, but you still got to do all this other shit. You could be taken along and do some assignments on it. That'd be great too to start if that's where they need you to go. But ultimately, you want to take one from start to finish yourself, to where you have to ask questions, you have to seek out the help, you have to gather all the resources together to get it done, because then that's the way you learn. And so I force it to come into my schedule. So I don't just have it on like my to-do list, or like, oh, I'll talk to people about proposals, and that's all great. Do that too, but get it on your schedule. So insert weakness here. I've identified I need to work on it. I'm going to go take it. I'm going to go ask for somebody for it, and I'm going to convince them that they should take a chance and let me do it, right? Um, that's what I would do.
Yeah.
And that's what I've done over my career.
Yeah. No, and you could always just ask for, hey, give me a lightweight version of that project so I can learn, or team me up with someone who's really good at it so I can learn from them, and, have a two-person effort on getting this project done. But now, after the success of that project, I can do another one by myself.
Yeah, dude, and no one's going to give them to you, so just go ask for them.
Yep.
Right. So okay, so we kind of got into like, the topic is, should we focus on our weaknesses and strengths? There is no yes or no, or black and white or binary answer to that. So we've gotten into that a little bit. We've kind of gotten into how you can work on your weaknesses, right, to change them into strengths. We've talked about, what do you just delegate out? Do we delegate out weaknesses forever, Steve?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you give me an example of where that would get someone in trouble if they just continue to delegate their weakness? Hey, my fellow impactful engineers, if there's one thing that you could do to help out this community, is to keep listening to the podcast, but also if you found value in it, to share it with one person, give us a 5-star review, or even leave a text review. It'll only take a few seconds of your time. Find that person that you think could enjoy some of this or learn from it, and pass on the good word. Now back to the show.
You would start building the perception that you have no interest in improving, or you are weak at your role. If you continually delegate all of your weaknesses, if you showcase that you're not interested in improving, that will create that perception that you're not interested in the long term success of the company, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think that's very valid. And so that doesn't mean that you can't delegate your weaknesses out if you're delegating them out for the strategic purpose of clearing time in your schedule to work on other weaknesses, all right, or pivot at the last minute to do something. But overall, your strategy should be, in my opinion, to eliminate as many weaknesses as possible in the realm of the path that you want to take, right? If you're never, ever, ever, ever going to go the route of leader, CEO, strategic direction of the company, be on the board, contribute to new, if you're never going to do that, then I don't know why you would focus on any of the skills, right, that lead you in that direction. If you want to be the technical expert that knows all the products and can just give you a system that's robust, design something unbreakable that does its thing, meets all the requirements, all the codes, everything, and you want to be really good at that, then sure, I'd be focusing on weaknesses in that area and delegating out the leadership shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's great. So I think there is a path focus on within this realm. But if you see it being something, and I want to back up for a second too and be like, you're planning on working for the company for the rest of your life, or in a company, as a W-2 employee. You're not trying to like go out on your own, start a business, be a contractor, do this, do that. Like, you just want to be part of an organization, then these are great rules to live by. Like, you better be working on leadership and entrepreneurial type skills if you plan on opening your own shop, right? Um, so pick your path too, and then apply this um, strategy towards, do we focus on our weaknesses or we focus on our strengths? So I want to make sure I got that in, because it's like, it depends, right? So yeah, so Steve, let's switch into identifying weaknesses that could be turned into strengths that directly benefit the company that you're in, right? So how are we identifying? So we've identified that, when and where we should focus on our strengths and our weaknesses, and a couple of ways to do that. How do we identify potential weaknesses that we don't know we even have that will benefit the company or yourself getting into the next role or moving up? How do we do that?
Yeah. So you're talking about blind spots, right?
Yes, right.
So um, blind spots are those weaknesses that you don't know about, and the best way to find them is to ask. Solicit candid feedback from your peers, your management, leaders, etc., even direct reports if you're like a manager yourself, and you can get that candid feedback of, hey, where are some areas that I can improve? What have I been doing that isn't up to snuff, for my role? And they will tell you. And that gives you that spotlight on the weakness that is most important to the rest of the team. And that's a great starting point to start focusing on improving your skill sets.
Yeah, and if all of this starts like prior to asking for the feedback, right? So, we've talked about it before, but increase your visibility in the projects that you're doing, for none other than receiving this feedback, right? And And you can see how, because you're talking about seeking candid feedback from others, reaching out and doing something with the input that you get. This is all connected because we've talked about the candid feedback loop before. We've talked about visibility, right? It's all tied together. So if I could leave you with anything with this episode, it's just a reminder to build your skills in these areas, get those weaknesses to become strengths, uh, build your toolbox, your toolkit of all these skills, because you never know when you're going to need one. So if you want to solicit feedback, right, so that you can identify blind spots because you want to make improvements, well, how do you get the candid feedback?
Yeah. So
You're not going to get it right when you need it. It's like, oh, I've never asked for feedback before. And in fact, I've never thought about how visible my work is to others. No one's even like really, no one of high uh, standing in the company has ever even seen my worked product. Who am I even going to ask that has feedback for me, right? Besides my direct boss, I guess. So this is, these things need to be happening before, right? Uh, en route to building all of the weaknesses and the strengths.
yeah, and I think the people who will give you the best um, hallway conversation, candid feedback is going to be your peers. If you're uh, a 2-year engineer and you have other 2-year engineers around you, or 3-year or 5-year, whatever, um, they'll be very quick to be like, "Oh yeah, I would work on this," or "I've done really well over here, and I can see you're struggling. Here's how I do it." I mean, that'll be just quick, easy feedback. Something I will say is, at first, you're probably going to get lightweight feedback. So, how you get more direct and more impactful feedback is taking action on that lightweight feedback quickly to show that you want to improve. So
That you're worth providing feedback to.
exactly. Yeah. So
Yes.
if you ask for feedback, you're going to get some lightweight stuff in the beginning. Take that, take action immediately on it, improve, and the next time you ask for feedback, first go, "Hey, I've been working really hard on that feedback that you gave me the last time we talked. I really appreciate that. Um, how has that been so far since then?" They'll say, "Hey, yeah, you've really stepped it up there. That's awesome. Great. I'm glad you noticed that. Um, can you give me some more feedback on some other areas, because I'm really trying to boost my skill set here." And they're gonna be like, "Hey, he already took action on that other feedback. I'm gonna go ahead and give him something a little heavier." And then slowly over time, they're going to give you better and better and better feedback. And pretty soon, they'll just straight up tell you to your face, knowing that you're going to take action, the worst skill sets that you have, and you'll be able to build off that and just you know go to the moon.
Yeah. And guess what they're going to say to other people, right? They're going to start spreading the good word that this person is worth investing in. And because everybody has a million things to do, man. And if you're not focusing on, if your name's not on the minds of those people, they're not going to think about what feedback to give you. And then you're going to ask them, and it'll be that whatever they're thinking at the time. But if they're used to you approaching them for feedback and then taking action on it, every time they think of something, they'll actually take the effort to write it down, remember it, and say, "Oh, this will be a good one for Steve. He's been asking, and I'm going to write this down," instead of letting it go away, float away to the wind, and just it's out of his brain, right? They're going to write it down, and they're going to approach you the next time and say, "Hey, I'm glad you came back again because I have a list for you. I have a couple things," right? Um, so great,
Yeah.
good one, kind of easy one. I hope you guys really got something that you can think about. Always look inward and see where you can apply this stuff. Overall, where do we focus on more? Our weaknesses or our strengths? The answer is it depends. Steve, you got something to say?
Yes,
I was wrapping up.
I know you were, and I just want to drop a little secret for people here. If you want to be able to give other people candid feedback and to see improvement in others, the secret is to take action on the feedback that they give you first. If
Yep.
you show that you are interested in taking action on improving yourself from the feedback that they give, now that opens the door for you to be able to give them feedback, and they will be receptive to it, knowing that you have that interest in the betterment of it, all that are
Dude,
around you.
it's the same with everything.
Yep.
You want to be the person that gets like projects done for the company that moves the business forward. You don't get to do that until you've helped somebody else move their project forward to help the business.
Yeah.
Because then they're going to be like, "Oh, he's willing to do this for me. When he comes to me with something, I'll be willing to the best of my ability to allow them to do that." Seen it firsthand, right? So do the thing that you want others to do for you, do it for someone else first. Right? Dude, if we could just cut the whole episode and have you remember that, that'd be great.
Yep.
So take that with you. Provide the service first, and then it will be provided to you. That's the bottom line. But Steve, great. Back to our weaknesses and our strengths. All right, short term, focus on your strengths. Delegate your weaknesses. Period. End of story. Long term, be identifying weaknesses in the area at which you want to go, and if they apply to the area that you are trying to go, then work on them. Okay, and do all the things we talked about. Approach the mentors, right? Request feedback. Start building the relationships. Start doing the thing for other people so that they will do it for you, and then you'll slowly build those weaknesses into strengths.
Yep. And before we sign off, we do have a newsletter. It comes out every single week, which reinforces the why, the how, and the action to take, involving some of the highest impact activities you can be doing to boost your career and your confidence in it. You can sign up by heading over to impactfulengineer.com. And if you want us to answer a question about any of the topics that we cover, or you are facing a unique challenge and could use some guidance, please reach out to us on LinkedIn directly at Stephen Maxey or Jake Maxey, or you can send us an email at questions@impactfulengineer.com.